We are counting down 15 British school dinners from the 1970s and the 1980s that have vanished from canteen hatches forever. These are dishes that fueled playground battles, survived dinner lady scrutiny, and left lasting impressions on an entire generation. From mysterious meat concoctions served with watered-down gravy to puddings so dense they could anchor a ship, each entry tells the story of institutional cooking, tight budgets, and the peculiar alchemy that turned simple ingredients into memories that refuse to fade. Expect lumpy custard, questionable textures, and flavors that divided classrooms as sharply as any playground rivalry. Which forgotten school dinner tops the list? Let us begin our countdown with number 15. Number 15. Liver and onions arrived on school dinner plates like a weekly test of character, its iron-rich smell announcing itself long before the serving hatch slid open. Dinner ladies in floral tabards scooped slices of grey-brown liver onto compartmentalized plastic trays, the onion gravy pooling into neighboring sections and threatening the mashed potatoes territory. By 1975, local education authority guidelines recommended liver as a budget-friendly protein, costing school kitchens barely 30 pence a pound, while delivering nutrients that officials insisted growing children needed. The texture divided dining halls with surgical precision. Some children developed elaborate smuggling operations, wrapping liver in paper napkins or sliding it beneath uneaten cabbage. Others, raised on the same dish at home, cleared their plates with grim efficiency, knowing pudding privileges hung in the balance. Teachers patrolled the aisles, enforcing the unwritten rule that nothing left the canteen uneaten. Oral histories from comprehensive schools across the Midlands recall the particular chewiness of overcooked liver, the way it resisted the flimsy plastic cutlery, and required sawing motions that drew sympathetic glances from neighboring tables. For dinner ladies working within budgets of just 25 pence per meal by 1978, liver represented value and virtue combined. Yet for the children who faced it, the dish became a weekly ordeal, a rite of passage that marked the boundary between infant school softness and the harder realities of junior dining. Today, liver has vanished from school menus entirely, its memory preserved only in playground reunion stories and the involuntary shudder of those who survived it. Number 14. Spam fritters emerged from school kitchen. Deep fryers as golden rectangles of mystery, their battered exteriors concealing the distinctive pink processed meat that had sustained Britain since wartime. By the early 1970s, school canteens across the country served an estimated 2 million spam fritters each week, the tins stacked high in kitchen storerooms like edible insurance against any shortage. The smell of hot oil and frying batter drifted through corridors, reaching classrooms during afternoon lessons and triggering Pavlovian responses in hungry pupils. Dinner ladies sliced the spam into thick oblongs, dipped each piece in a simple flour batter, and lowered them into spitting fat until the coating turned crisp and bubbled. Served alongside chips and baked beans, spam fritters represented everything functional about institutional feeding. They were hot, filling, and required minimal preparation. Children who grew up with spam at home accepted it without question. Others encountered the processed meat for the first time and struggled to identify what exactly they were eating. The texture, simultaneously firm and yielding, bore little resemblance to any meat they knew. School dinner registers from 1976 show spam fritters appearing on rotation every fortnight, reliable as clockwork and just as mechanical in their appeal. When Jamie Oliver's school dinner campaign swept through British education in 2005, spam fritters were among the first casualties. Their disappearance marked the end of an ERA when processed convenience trumped nutritional concerns, and school kitchens operated more like factories than restaurants. Number 13. Semolina pudding arrived in school canteens as a pale, trembling mass that divided opinion before the first spoonful was raised. Dinner ladies stirred vast aluminium pots, watching the milk thicken around the fine wheat granules until the mixture reached a consistency somewhere between porridge and wallpaper paste. A dollop of jam, usually strawberry from large catering tins, sat in the center of each portion like a crimson island in a beige sea. By 1974, Semolina featured on 80% of primary school pudding rotas, its low cost and high yield making it irresistible to budget-conscious kitchen managers. The taste itself was mild, almost absent, which explained why the jam became so crucial. Children developed rituals around that scarlet blob, some stirring it through to create pink swirls, others saving it until last as a reward for enduring the bland surroundings. The texture provocation was real. Semolina's slight graininess caught in throats and triggered gag reflexes in the more sensitive diners. Teachers recall the standoffs, children sitting alone at tables long after their classmates had left, spoons hovering over cooling pudding, negotiations underway for reduced portions or strategic napkin disposal. The Ministry of Education nutritional guidelines praised Semolina's calcium content and gentle digestibility. Generations of school children remained unconvinced. Today, Semolina survives only in specialist bakeries and the occasional nostalgic recipe blog. Its reign as the default school pudding ended quietly, replaced by yogurts and fruit pots that required no cooking and provoked no controversy. Number 12. Tapioca pudding earned its playground nickname through honest description. Frog spawn, the children called it, watching the translucent pearls suspended in sweetened milk and finding the comparison unavoidable. School kitchens across Britain served tapioca as a cheap, filling pudding, its main ingredient imported in bulk and stored in industrial quantities. By 1979, a single serving cost the Education Authority less than 8 pence to produce, making it a financial favorite, even as children pushed it around their bowls in quiet horror. The texture was the challenge. Each pearl retained a slight resistance, a pop beneath the teeth that some found pleasant and others found deeply unsettling. Dinner ladies added sugar and sometimes a scrape of nutmeg, attempting to transform the alien appearance into something approaching comfort food. The results varied wildly. In some schools, tapioca became a beloved weekly treat. In others, it triggered mass avoidance strategies, with children trading pudding portions like currency or claiming sudden illnesses as serving time approached. Oral histories from secondary moderns in the Northwest recall tapioca days with particular vividness. The way the pearls caught the fluorescent canteen lighting, the sound of spoons scraping reluctantly against bowls, the triumph of finally emptying a dish without actually tasting its contents. When school meal reforms arrived in the 1990s, tapioca pudding disappeared almost overnight. Its memory lingers in the collective shudder of a generation who ate it because they had to, not because they wanted to. Number 11. Manchester tart brought a flash of color to school pudding trolleys, its bright yellow custard filling topped with a lattice of coconut that turned golden under the canteen lights. The recipe, simple enough for mass production, called for short crust pastry spread with raspberry jam, filled with custard, and finished with desiccated coconut and a glacé cherry at the center. By the mid-1970s, Manchester tart appeared on school menus from Liverpool to London, its northern origins spreading southward as dinner ladies shared recipes and catering suppliers standardized ingredients. The combination worked. Sweet jam, smooth custard, and the slight chew of coconut created a pudding that children actually requested. Kitchen staff recall the satisfaction of watching trays return scraped clean, a rare occurrence in the world of institutional desserts. The glacé cherry, synthetic red, and sticky sweet became a coveted prize. Negotiations took place across dining tables, with cherries traded for first choice at the sweet trolley or immunity from playground disputes. School meal records from Greater Manchester in 1978 show Manchester tart served twice a month, its popularity ensuring repeat appearances despite the relatively higher cost of coconut and cherries. The tart survived longer than many of its contemporaries, appearing sporadically in school canteens into the early 1990s. Its eventual disappearance owed more to changing tastes than nutritional concerns. Children raised on chocolate bars and branded desserts found the old-fashioned tart quaint, then irrelevant, then forgotten entirely. Number 10. Cornflake tart offered the satisfying crunch that school puddings often lacked, its golden topping of syrup-bound cereal sitting atop a jam-spread pastry base. Dinner ladies mixed cornflakes with golden syrup in battered mixing bowls, pressing the sticky mass into pastry cases before baking until the edges caramelized, and the kitchen filled with the warm smell of toasted sugar. The recipe stretched ingredients impressively. A single box of cornflakes, costing school kitchens just 15 pence in 1976, yielded enough topping for 30 portions when combined with syrup and a steady hand. This economy made cornflake tart a fixture on pudding rotas across comprehensive schools and grammar schools alike. The texture contrast was the secret. Soft, jammy pastry gave way to shatteringly crisp cornflake topping, creating a sensory experience that elevated simple ingredients into something memorable. Children learned to eat carefully, cupping hands beneath their chins to catch falling fragments, competing to see who could finish a slice with the least spillage. School meal supervisors recall cornflake tart days as unusually peaceful. The pudding required concentration, leaving little energy for the usual dining hall disruptions. When served warm, with custard pooling around the base, the tart became a genuine highlight of the school week. Its disappearance from modern menus reflects changing attitudes toward sugar and processed cereals. But for those who remember, cornflake tart remains the crisp, sweet proof that school dinners could occasionally deliver genuine pleasure. Number 9. Chocolate concrete earned its name through an honest assessment of its structural properties. This dense, dry sponge arrived on school dinner plates across Britain from the late 1960s onward. Served in slabs that could double as building materials, its recipe, closely guarded in some school kitchens, typically combined flour, cocoa powder, margarine, and minimal liquid, producing a cake so solid it required determination to cut and jaw strength to chew. By 1980, chocolate concrete had achieved legendary status in playground mythology. Children swapped techniques for consuming it, from dunking pieces in custard until softened, to breaking chunks off and letting them dissolve slowly. The portion size was generous, a consolation for the effort required. Dinner ladies cut large rectangles from baking trays, the knife meeting resistance that spoke to the pudding's density. Served with bright pink custard, an equally distinctive creation of school catering, chocolate concrete became as much an aesthetic experience as a culinary one. The contrast of dark brown slab against lurid pink sauce photographed poorly, but tasted, according to its defenders, surprisingly good. School reunions decades later still feature debates about chocolate concrete's merits. Some remember it as dry, joyless, and punishing. Others recall the chocolate flavor, concentrated by the density and the comfort of pink custard, softening each bite into something approaching pleasure. Its disappearance marked the end of an era when school puddings prioritized substance over subtlety, filling stomachs with minimal concern for sophistication. Number 8. Butterscotch tart brought caramel sweetness to the institutional dessert canon, its glossy filling catching the canteen lights like edible amber. School kitchens produced this pudding in vast rectangular trays, the pastry base pressed into corners, and the butterscotch mixture poured smooth before setting firm. In many dining halls, the tart was formed in sheets and cut into portions. The clean edges a small prize at the serving hatch. By the early 1980s, the tart featured weekly on menus across secondary schools, its popularity rivaling even the mighty chocolate sponge. The filling walked a careful line between chewy and tooth-pulling, depending on the skill of the dinner lady and the temperature of the serving. Freshly cut portions were treacherously sticky, and slices that had cooled required genuine commitment, the butterscotch clinging to spoons and stretching in golden strands. Children developed preferences, warm and soft, or cold and dense. Each version had its advocates, and the timing of arrival at the serving hatch became strategically important. School meal records from comprehensive schools in West Yorkshire show butterscotch tart consuming significant butter and sugar allocations, its richness a deliberate treat amid the more austere main courses. The combination with custard was essential, the creaminess cutting through the intense sweetness and preventing the tart from overwhelming young palates. Today, butterscotch tart survives in bakeries and nostalgia-driven recipe collections, but the school dinner version, served in institutional portions on compartmentalized trays, exists only in the memories of those who queued for it, watching dinner ladies wield palette knives and hoping for a corner piece. Number 7. Gypsy tart swept through Kent schools in the 1970s before spreading north, its intensely sweet filling a revelation to children raised on blander desserts. The recipe, deceptively simple, required only evaporated milk and muscovado sugar, beaten together until thick and mousse-like, then poured into pastry cases and baked briefly. The result was unlike any other school pudding, light yet rich, deeply caramelized, with a texture that melted on the tongue rather than requiring chewing. By 1978, Gypsy tart had become so closely associated with Kentish schools that children moving from other counties encountered it as an exotic novelty. Its origins remained debated. Some claimed a recipe developed to feed hungry hop-picking children. Others pointed to dinner ladies improvising with available ingredients. Whatever its source, the tart achieved cult status. School meal supervisors recall the anticipation on Gypsy tart days, the dining hall buzzing with an energy absent when less popular puddings appeared. The portions were typically modest, the sweetness so concentrated that larger slices risked overwhelming even sugar-hungry children. Yet complaints were rare. The tart delivered exactly what it promised, pure, uncomplicated sweetness in a pastry shell. Modern recreations appear occasionally in artisan bakeries and retro cookbooks, but the school dinner version, served slightly warm, with its filling still trembling, belonged to a specific time and place. Its disappearance from menus removed one of the few school puddings that children genuinely loved rather than merely tolerated. Pink custard stood as the most visible symbol of school dinner creativity, its lurid color announcing itself from across any canteen. Dinner ladies added cochineal or strawberry essence to basic custard recipes, transforming the familiar yellow into something that seemed to belong in a science experiment rather than a pudding bowl. By 1975, pink custard had become so standard in British schools that children assumed all custard came in two varieties, home yellow and school pink. The taste differed only slightly from traditional custard, a hint of artificial strawberry, or simply the psychological effect of the color-altering perception. But the appearance was transformative. Poured over chocolate sponge, pink custard created a color combination that burned itself into visual memory. Pooled around spotted dick, it clashed magnificently. Served alongside the grey-brown reality of most school main courses, it offered proof that the kitchen could produce something vivid and unexpected. School meal records show custard powder purchased in industrial quantities, The pink coloring added according to dinner lady preference, resulting in variations from pale rose to aggressive magenta across different schools. Children compared shades at secondary school, discovering that their primary school's pink was never quite the same as another's. The disappearance of pink custard came gradually, health concerns about artificial colorings coinciding with a general professionalization of school catering. Modern school puddings arrive accompanied by cream or yogurt in natural tones. The era of lurid custard exists now only in photographs and the vivid memories of those who watched it poured. Number 5. Prunes and custard divided school dining halls with a ferocity that even liver and onions could not match. The wrinkled dark fruit arrived in pools of yellow custard, their appearance provoking immediate and vocal reactions from children encountering them for the first time. By the early 1970s, prunes featured regularly on school pudding menus. Their high fiber content and low cost made them attractive to catering managers focused on nutrition and budgets. The Ministry of Education's 1975 guidelines specifically recommended dried fruit desserts, praising their digestive benefits while acknowledging that presentation may require attention. School kitchens responded with varying degrees of enthusiasm. Some stewed prunes with sugar until soft and sweet. Others served them barely warmed, their natural tartness challenging young palates more accustomed to jam and sponge. The custard, whether yellow or pink, served as peacemaker, its sweetness attempting to bridge the gap between institutional necessity and childhood preference. Oral histories from grammar schools in the southeast recall the negotiation tactics. Prunes pushed to bowl edges, custard consumed alone. Final spoonfuls avoided until teacher intervention became unavoidable. Dinner ladies watched these battles with weary familiarity, knowing that the fruit's reputation preceded every serving. The decline of prunes and custard came as school meal choice expanded in the 1980s. Given alternatives, children voted with their feet, and the wrinkled fruit retreated from menus. Its memory persists as perhaps the most polarizing pudding of the era, loved by few and forgotten by none. Number 4. Cheese pie arrived on plates as a mysterious wedge of savory density. Its filling combined cheese sauce and potato, encased in pastry that defied easy description. School kitchens across Britain produced this dish throughout the 1970s and the 1980s, the recipe varying wildly between authorities, but always delivering something filling and protein-rich. By 1982, cheese pie appeared weekly on vegetarian menus, offering an alternative to the meat-heavy main courses that dominated school catering. The cheese itself was typically mild cheddar, stretched with white sauce and mashed potato until the filling achieved a consistency that held its shape when cut. The pastry ranged from golden and flaky in more accomplished kitchens to pale and soggy where ovens ran unevenly or timing was misjudged. Served with baked beans or peas, cheese pie represented institutional cooking at its most practical. A complete meal in a single wedge, requiring only a plate and a fork. Children's responses divided along predictable lines. Those who liked cheese embraced the pie as a welcome break from grey meat and suspicious gravy. Those who did not faced a substantial obstacle. The pie's density made concealment difficult, and the cheese flavor permeated every bite. School meal supervisors recall cheese pie as uncontroversial, neither loved nor hated with the passion that greeted liver or prunes. Its disappearance from menus came quietly, replaced by pizza slices and pasta bakes that offered similar convenience with more contemporary appeal. The cheese pie era ended not with protest, but with gradual forgetting. Number 3. Sponge pudding with chocolate sauce emerged from school kitchen ovens as the reliable highlight of any dining week. Dense vanilla sponge, baked in rectangular trays and cut into generous portions, arrived at serving hatches accompanied by jugs of chocolate sauce thick enough to coat spoons and slow enough to pour dramatically. By the late 1970s, sponge and chocolate sauce featured on rotation at schools across Britain, its popularity second only to the various tarts and crumbles that completed the pudding repertoire. The economics were simple. Flour, eggs, sugar, and margarine transformed through industrial mixing into a sponge that fed hundreds. The chocolate sauce, made from cocoa powder, sugar, and milk, stretched further still. Together, they offered satisfaction without complexity, a pudding that dinner ladies could produce reliably and children would consume eagerly. The texture balance was essential. Sponge that was too dry needed excessive sauce to become palatable. Sponge that was too moist fell apart before reaching the table. Experienced dinner ladies judged baking times by instinct, pulling trays at precisely the right moment to achieve the ideal, firm enough to slice cleanly, soft enough to absorb the chocolate without resistance. Oral histories recall the sight of chocolate sauce poured in canteen lines, each child silently calculating whether the jug would last until their turn or require a refill that might delay pudding by crucial minutes. The combination endures in collective memory as school catering at its most successful, a simple formula executed well and remembered fondly by generations who encountered it. The Friday fish and chips ritual marked the week's end with the closest approximation to actual enjoyment that school dinner menus achieved. Battered fish, produced by the hundred in school kitchens from frozen fillets shipped in bulk, arrived alongside chips that bore only passing resemblance to those from proper chip shops. By 1980, fish and chips had become so embedded in school routine that attempts to alter the menu met with genuine resistance from pupils and parents alike. The fish itself was typically cod or haddock, though the thick batter often made identification academic. School kitchens fried in industrial quantities, the oil recycled until it added its own distinctive flavor to proceedings. The chips, cut from institutional catering potatoes and cooked in separate fryers, emerged pale and soft, lacking the crispness of their takeaway counterparts, but carrying enough comfort to satisfy hungry children approaching the weekend. Vinegar bottles, refilled from gallon containers in the store cupboard, stood on canteen tables, their contents supplied liberally by children recreating the chip shop experience as closely as institutional rules allowed. Some schools prohibited ketchup, considering it an unnecessary indulgence. Others provided small sachets that became trading currency, their tomato sweetness transforming acceptable chips into genuinely desirable ones. The disappearance of Friday fish from many schools came with the nutritional reforms of the 2000s. Modern menus feature baked fish options and oven chips, healthier but stripped of the ritual significance that made Fridays special. For those who remember, the smell of frying batter remains inseparable from the relief of another week survived. Number 1. The school dinner roast with thin gravy stands as the defining memory of British institutional feeding, a weekly attempt at recreating Sunday lunch. And it revealed both the ambition and the limitations of mass catering. Every Thursday in schools across Britain, dinner ladies carved meat from joints that had spent hours in industrial ovens, producing slices of beef, lamb, or pork that ranged from passably tender to shoe-leather tough, depending on cut, cooking time, and the mysterious variables of institutional kitchens. By 1979, the school roast dinner cost education authorities approximately 35 pence per serving, a budget that necessitated creative economies. Cheaper cuts were stretched further, vegetables were boiled until soft, and gravy was thin enough to pour freely over everything. The gravy itself became the subject of particular scrutiny. Made from meat juices extended with granules and water, it arrived in metal jugs that dinner ladies distributed with practiced efficiency. The consistency varied. Some schools produced gravy thick enough to complement the meat. Others served a brown liquid so watery it pooled beneath the meal without adhering to anything. Children learned to make a standard request. "More gravy, please." That phrase repeated down serving lines as portions were assembled. Roast potatoes, when they appeared, divided into golden and crispy or pale and yielding, their quality depending entirely on the skill and equipment of individual kitchens. Yorkshire puddings accompanied Sunday roasts in some regions, their batter risen or fallen according to oven temperament. Brussels sprouts arrived regardless of season. Their overcooked softness was a constant presence on the edge of plates. The complete assembly, meat, potato, vegetable, and gravy, arranged on compartmentalized trays, represented British school catering's highest ambition. A proper dinner served properly to children who might not receive similar meals at home. The reality often fell short, but on the best days, in the most capable kitchens, the school roast delivered something approaching comfort. Its disappearance from daily menus reflects changed expectations and improved nutrition standards. For those who experienced it, the Thursday roast remains the essential school dinner memory, a weekly ritual that united millions in the shared experience of institutional Britain. Across all 15 entries, from the liver and onions that tested young stomachs to the Thursday roast that anchored the school week, these vanished school dinners tell a story of a Britain feeding its children on tight budgets and tighter timelines. Some dishes, like chocolate concrete and pink custard, stand out as the most distinctively institutional creations, foods that existed nowhere but school canteens. Others, such as the Friday fish and chips or the Butterscotch tart, represented attempts to bring genuine pleasure into functional feeding. The common thread throughout is pragmatism, stretching ingredients, managing budgets, and producing meals that would be consumed, if not always enjoyed, by children who had no alternative. Dinner ladies emerge as the unsung heroes, transforming bulk ingredients into memories that persist decades after the serving hatches closed. This ranking is not merely about foods that disappeared, but about the shared experience of institutional childhood, the smells and textures and colors that united a generation regardless of geography or background. In the end, these 15 lost school dinners are more than recipes. They are the taste of growing up in Britain, the memory of canteen queues and plastic trays, and the quiet proof that even the most humble institutional cooking can leave its mark on those who ate it.